If all the time I'm like trying to talk seductive, that's not gonna work. And if all the time I'm only teasing, then it never really like hits that next level. So there should be like a couple moments of a little bit more of a seductive vibe. It shouldn't be the entire time. It shouldn't be you like trying to be like some like James Bond dude either. I have more of that seductive vibe when the girl is already like at that level with me. You start vibing, you have engaging conversation, communication, the girl starts getting more into the conversation. From there, we can actually start like teasing and joking and playfully pushing the girl away. That gets you to a point where you're in conversation where the girl's actually like at a point now where she's even receptive to that higher level of flirty, seductive communication. You don't just come in with that vibe off rip, because it can be a little intense if you do it too much of it too soon. I want to communicate my vibe to the girl in a way where if I was talking to my sister with that vibe, she would be looking at me thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you talking to me like that? Like, that's weird, stop. That's what I'm talking about when it's a man to woman communication. The problem with a lot of dudes though is like they say the flirty line, but the tonality is like the same way that you would talk to your sister. And I say in the video, I was like, I want to deliver the line where it's like, if I were to say it to my sister, and again, it doesn't even need to be the line. It's just the vibe. If I gave off a certain vibe while I was talking to my sister, she would feel awkward and weird and uncomfortable and be like, why are you fucking talking to me like that? You're being weird, stop. That's the vibe that you want to do at the right time, okay? So it's typically in small little bursts while I'm holding good eye contact with the girl. It's a little bit softer, it's a little bit more seductive. You can say a flirty line in that moment. You could also say a teasing line in that moment, but what's important is still hitting her with that vibe at a certain time in the interaction. So if you've ever had a moment where like you kissed the girl, or you felt like you could kiss the girl, or you felt like she was really looking deep into your eyes, or she was just really engaged, those are great times to start bringing out that vibe a little bit more. It's always in moments where I'm relatively closer to the girl. I'm never like sitting far away from the girl, or we're like doing something where there's a lot of distance between us. It usually doesn't seem congruent in that moment. It seems congruent when I'm like at this distance, and that's why my voice gets a little bit softer too, because we're so close. You know, so I found that oftentimes it's when I'm at a distance like this close. The more you interact with girls, the more teasing and like you work on your vibe, the more girls you'll have in interactions where they're looking deep in your eyes and you're at this level, and that just gives you the reference experiences about when is the right time to do it and giving yourself permission to actually do it. You know, a lot of it is just giving yourself permission. I remember initially I just did it in the mirror before I ever was filming any content. Like I just did it in the mirror, trying to practice it. Then I would go out to nightclubs and like I wasn't that good, but like every so often there would be like a drunk girl that was just like into me, so I would like start practicing like flirting, you know, with girls that were already giving me green lights. And that was how I kind of built up my confidence enough to become more of that guy. You'll just keep developing it more and more and more. Essentially, it'll get to a point, dude, where it's just like a certain look you give the girl. Like you give a girl a very distinct, flirty look that will hit her on a deep level. You gotta just practice it initially, and over time, the more you do it, the more congruent it's gonna become. That's really what it comes down to. Do it in the mirror a little bit, go out, do it in night game, practice it on dates, and it will slowly become more and more congruent to you, and over time it'll actually feel natural. Like if I'm on the phone and I'm flirting with a girl, it still looks like I'm flirting. I'm not like this. Like if you see me on the phone talking to a girl, you're gonna be able to tell I'm talking to a girl. It looks like I'm flirting. It's the same exact vibe. Like I'm smiling a little bit. My eyes are still like a little, I'm like, wait, what did you just say? Nah, I know you didn't do that. This is it. I'm just pretending. Like I look down, I smile, or I look over here and I smile. That's my vibe when I'm on the phone. Maybe it doesn't get super sexual on the phone. It's more of like a playful, flirty vibe on the phone, I would say. Unless I've been seeing the girl and like we've already fucked and maybe she's like super horny, but personally I was never like really big into sexting and shit on the phone. I always kept it like flirty, fun, a little playful. That's the vibe that I would do it. So if I'm doing a voice note, it's the same thing. You gotta be able to just put yourself into that little laughy, fun, soft, playful vibe. Like I'm in it right now. I can just put myself here, right? And now I know I can, if I just talk a certain way. So I was actually just like getting home right now, right? And fucking funny ass thing happened. So I was like I was walking, right? That's the vibe. I mean, I'm not like actually flirting. I'm just saying a random story. That's how I put myself into that vibe though. And here's the other thing, the more out of state you are, the harder it's gonna be to channel it. And the less frequent you've gone into that state, the harder it is to tap into that state. If you've been super shy, super antisocial for the last like 4 weeks, it might almost feel weird if you've never been in that emotional state before, it's gonna be really hard to tap into it. So that's why for the guys that are starting to go out, or maybe you've made a little bit of progress, you gotta keep going, man. Like there's a quote, it's just you are what you do repeatedly. So the more frequently or the more amount of times that you've been able to be that guy, be that flirty guy, the easier it is to bring that out more and more and more.